Hello and welcome to the first lecture on cognitive services, which is part of artificial intelligence services of Microsoft. So, the first things first, what is AI that we all are talking about? I'm not going to preach you with all the basics of AI. I assume you have read enough and are fairly aware of AI, but for the completeness of this lecture, let's see the definition of it. As per Wikipedia, artificial intelligence is nothing but the intelligent machines, which simply means machines will have the ability to see, analyze, and give results similar to humans. Now, what does that mean in simple terms? Well, among so many senses that we humans have, vision is one of the strongest, and our ability to process what we see is extraordinary. So, we can say that a machine has vision intelligence when it can detect faces, it can identify emotions, it can not only identify people but can also count them, or even identify various objects in an image by understanding what's inside the image. Speech or language is another such ability where we can identify the meaning of the written and spoken text as well as understand the sentiment behind it. You may want to develop such an application that processes texts, written or spoken words of a user using natural language processing. You may also want to develop some cool, funny apps but don't know how to identify the different aspects of a face, such as exactly where the eyes or nose are. There can be some other applications that can be very useful using machine vision. You may want to understand who is in this picture, such as kids playing in a ground, or even want to identify a person where he's not supposed to be. For example, in this image, the security camera should be intelligent enough to identify such unlawful activity, or may just want to read the text in an image or check if an image has some text. If you are working with an e-commerce company, it's very important to show the correct image to the user. What if by mistake a wrong image is being shown? Or if the user uploads a wrong image while he is trying to resell some of his goods? Another good example of image processing would be for a hotel booking industry, let's say. It's very important to show the right image on the search listing page, and it has been proven that certain images boost the conversion rates. Among tens of thousands of images, it will be very difficult to categorize bathroom versus bedroom images manually. One of my favorite applications is using the face identification for user authentication. Does not matter whether you want to unlock a digital device or even your door security or even to record the attendance of a particular person. It can even be applied for security checkpoints at various places to either allow authorized people to have access to or even restrict those on the no entry lists. With the cognitive services, you will be able to build all such or even more types of applications. If you try to build those using traditional means, you may face severe challenges. First of all, there are just too many frameworks to learn, and there are so many languages. It may take you months to learn and master these technologies, and every framework has its own strengths and weaknesses. Second challenge for a production grade application which can give quick response time will be the type of infrastructure that's required. You may end up owning or leasing very high-end computing devices such as specialized virtual machines, GPUs, and so on. That's definitely not going to be an easy task to design, procure, and implement your solution on it. The last challenge, but one of the most critical ones, is the expertise. It can hit in various forms. As you know, any algorithm is as good as the data we provide to it. And for vision or text, it's impossible to get access to millions of images to train your model unless you are someone like Microsoft or Google or Amazon. Also, if you want to cut down on the learning time, you may have to hire experienced data scientists who are not going to be inexpensive. This is the data from Glassdoor, and by no means that's a low cost for a data scientist. However, let's say after 3 months and after hiring 5 data scientists, spending $1 million, you somehow build that model. Can you still be sure of its accuracy in different situations? Won't it require some more time and money to achieve required accuracy? What if your requirements are not so heavy that you will spend such a huge money at it? We are always faced with this dilemma of should we build it or we should simply buy it. That's why the products exist. We don't go and build another Excel. We simply buy the license for it. With the emergence of the cloud, there is, however, another model that has evolved, which is pay per use. So, what do we mean by that? How such a service based model can help us in the context of artificial intelligence? Is it possible that with the same set of resources, you can achieve great results and get onto the bus to the AI destination with much lesser cost and in much lesser time? Well, you can certainly do that with the use of cognitive services. So, what exactly do Microsoft Cognitive Services do, or they are? Well, they are part of the overall services of Microsoft AI platform. It's built on one of the most popular frameworks of CNTK, or Cognitive Toolkit, which is an open source framework. Though it seems like a black box, it does provide you with a confidence level or a probability score so that you are sure of the result that you have got. It's built on massive amount of data. Companies like Microsoft has access to almost all the publicly available images and text through its search engines such as Bing. The best of all, it has a pay-per-use model, so you can use it for certain number of requests for free per month. Even beyond that, the costs are few cents per call, which is almost nothing considering the cost which you would incur if you want to build the same. And lastly, using these models is as simple as calling a REST API. So you can be a developer on any platform, but as long as you can integrate with an API, you would be able to use artificial intelligence in your applications, and that too of the highest quality. All of that without learning all complex mathematics, algorithms, data crunching, and so on. At the time of recording of this video, Microsoft provides these 5 categories of AI services. There is vision, using which you can analyze an image for its content, detect faces, moderate content, and so on. We are going to build some vision applications, and you will see that in action in subsequent lectures. The speech services deals with converting speech to text and the reverse, along with speech translation as well as speaker recognition. Then there are Bing search services which Microsoft has given access to. And finally, the knowledge and language services which can help you do tasks such as sentiment analysis, understanding the intent of the user, and even build a Q&A maker. We are going to go through some of these in this course. So by now, I'm sure you understand why you should use the cognitive services. Let me summarize it here once again. Using these services, you can enhance your apps with the ability to see, hear, speak, and understand your users using artificial intelligence. It's very easy to integrate with the existing apps or systems built on almost all platforms. There is almost no to a very low learning curve when you are using Microsoft Cognitive Services. The best part is you can keep your existing IT team to do all these very cool AI stuff. And because there is no training or building a model is required, you have a very quick time to go to the market. What I mean by that is you can launch your AI solutions in matter of hours or days. And because of the pay-per-use model, it's a very flexible and cost-effective solution. So, are you ready to learn how to build all these cool AI features in your application? Well, we are surely excited to teach you that. That's all I have in this lecture, and let's go through these services in a bit more detail in the next one. As always, thank you for joining me here and see you soon.